How's it going, folks? You're very welcome to another episode of The Change Room. I can say I am absolutely thrilled to have Kevin Doyle on the line. Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, Mark. I hope you're still saying that at the end.
Hopefully I am. Hopefully I am. Are the horses keeping you busy?
Yeah, that's where I've just come from. I was feeding and mucking and teasing a mare, if anyone knows what that means. I had a teaser up teasing a mare, so busy morning, yeah.
My father says you come from good stock. There's too many of them going into these warm studios when they finish playing. You were straight out into the barns like a good Irish man.
I don't mind a bit of the studio at times either, to be honest. Nice to mix it up. I won't lie, but no, yeah, I do like being out and about and say getting stuck in a little bit.
Getting stuck in, but at least it's something to keep busy with all that's going on. I suppose on the horizon, Kev, is the World Cup Qualifiers coming up now at the end of March. Personally, I'm a big Stephen Kenny fan myself. I don't think much more can go wrong for him. Where do you see us? Everything has come at him, in fairness. Where do you see us, or how do you see us getting on in the qualifiers at the end of March?
I really don't know. You know, it's no point in me lying either way. Oh, Jesus, it's tough. Like, I was doing the thing last night and we were just going through his possible team. And he's, as you said, he's had the perfect storm since he's took the job. You know, has not been a plain sailing whatsoever between players, coronavirus, coaches, everything. So, difficult one. And trying to pick his team, like, it was, you know, even his, what so-called, we had the strong back four a year ago, that's gone out the window. You know, trying to pick a midfield.
Would you have
who did I go for my back four? Do I have it written down here from last night? I do. I had Seamus Coleman. And there's someone like who this time last year we were talking about Matt Doherty needs to play instead of Seamus Coleman. And people were writing off Seamus Coleman back playing as well as ever. It's good to see. I went for O'Shea, Clark and Stevens. Kieran Clark, I think he has experience. He's having a decent enough season at Newcastle. He's back in the team. And, you know, I just can't see Shane Duffy playing, unfortunately, as good as he's been for Ireland in recent years. I think his confidence is it's been too, you know, too public is I suppose his season. And to be honest, even before that, we did one of the first games with Stephen and we were, you know, we were going to do a clip on Shane. We didn't in the end. We left it out because he had been so good for him. But just, I don't know if he's as suited to playing under Stephen Kenny as he would have been under Mick McCarthy, maybe Martin O'Neill. Stephen obviously likes to play out a bit more from the back. He used to be a lot more on the ball. And I think Shane is actually good on the ball, but I think he doesn't maybe believe in himself. Looking at him, he doesn't portray as much confidence as he might do when he's on the ball, and that sort of feeds into others. I don't think he's as good holding a high line, pushing up the pitch, the way Stephen likes to, you know, press higher up the pitch and the defenders have to push up and you're maybe left with maybe balls in behind, you're turning towards your own goal as a centre half more than he would have done under Mick McCarthy, where he'd have everyone in around him. And I think he's a really good defender like that. You saw him at Brighton, you know, blocking, you know, everyone around him. He's winning headers, he's blocking balls, he's diving in front of everything. So just the circumstances, style of play won't suit him as much under Stevens. So that's another reason, not just his form at the moment, why I wouldn't play him. Midfield, you know what, I couldn't pick a midfield. And the front three as well, you know, there's, from having such, you know, over the years, up till last year, you could sort of nearly pick our midfield in one or two, you can pick our strike force. It's very open at the moment. Great for the players, they can sort of, you know, they go in there and thinking I can start here, but hard for anyone to predict who Stephen will play.
With regards to, it just goes to show maybe how fickle the game is. It only seems like a couple of months ago we were overtaken by maybe Matt Doherty's transfer to Spurs, and suddenly he had moved to a big club. And I wouldn't say people wrote off Seamus Coleman, but it's certainly a case that maybe actions speak louder than transfer fees, because Seamus has been brilliant the last few weeks. Is there any way that you could see of getting them both into the team? I heard a suggestion only the other night of someone saying, maybe why not try Seamus at centre half and play Doherty to the right? Yeah. Where do you see that situation going, and how do you think Stephen Kenny is going to go?
I think he shouldn't play both of them, and that's your suggestion there. If he was going to play, that would be my preferred one, playing Matt right back and Seamus as the centre half. I don't like the Matt ahead of Seamus option. I think we saw it once, maybe under Mick McCarthy, but I just don't think it's right. I think it's not fair on Matt Doherty. It's not fair on Seamus, really. You're just putting him in the team to put him in the team because he's a good player, not because of his position. I think Matt Doherty gone to Spurs and they haven't played the way he played at Wolves. It's a big club, and I don't think the manager suits him anyway. I think he's the type of guy who needs an arm around the shoulder rather than a stick. And I don't think Mourinho is that type of guy. So don't think it suited Matt. But just formation-wise, they play 4-4-2, or they play a 4 at the back. And he's a wing back. He's really good going forward as a wing back, facing forward, not as a winger where you're getting your ball sometimes with your back at the touchline, or back, you're pinning a fullback, you're getting into your feet. Your movement is totally different to what people say, oh, he's really good going forward, but that's as a wing back facing up the pitch, not as a winger. And it is subtle difference maybe, but it is a difference. And when you're not used to doing it, I just don't think it's a natural thing for him to do. I think he's a better going forward than Seamus. I've seen him. Seamus scored some goals as well. I've seen Matt score goals, set up goals. He's a really good dribbler, but Seamus is a better all round as a right back. He's a better defender. He's playing better at the moment. So yeah, as a right back in that team, I would play Seamus, and he is the captain, and he's been there a long time with a lot of experience. Yeah, so I wouldn't play both. Long explanation to a short answer. No.
So just in terms of the top end of the pitch, Kevin, there's probably no better man to speak to than yourself. We do seem to be lacking that goal threat, with the loss of McGoldrick, that kind of focal point to maybe bring the likes of Conley and that into the game. Where do you see the goals coming from?
Again, I don't know. We were doing this, it was off the ball. I think our balls.ie the other day, we were going through who we'd pick. Again, Connolly, if he's fit, again, he seems to not be able to maintain, a run of games. He's the most exciting though of the current bunch to me. Anyway, I like watching him. You get off your seat to watch him. He gets you just thinking he could do something here. I would probably play James Collins through the middle. Adam might have did nothing wrong in the games he played, but I think James Collins, especially away from home, more of a physical threat, more of an ability to hold the ball up, because we will be under more pressure away from home against Serbia. Sort of as an outsider, well, not an outsider because he's a million caps for earning and lots of goals. Shane Long, who's gone to Bournemouth on loan and scored a couple of goals in the last week. Now it's 3 or 4 weeks to this game. Maybe if this gives him a good run of confidence, play some games for Bournemouth, gets a few more goals. You'd be mad not to bring him back involved. He should be fresh and fit, and he loves being involved with Ireland and has done it in the past for Ireland. So he could be not an outsider, because he's not an outsider, obviously, but he could be sort of a surprise one to come back in and maybe play, because if he was confident and fit, he's better than any of those through the middle, to be honest with you. With his previous form, obviously it's one that Stephen, he's sort of not gone. He's gone to bring in new players, and maybe he doesn't want to go back. But I think it'd be foolish to overlook him. But yeah, other than that, on the right then, so through the middle, if it's not long, he's James Collins, Connolly off him. I think James Collins would be good for Connolly. Take a good beating. James Collins takes a bit of a beating up there, but he's going to be needed against Serbia, and help bring in Connolly into the game. And on the right hand side, I don't know, to be honest. In midfield, we settled on a James McCarthy, Jason Knight sort of combination, maybe Malumbi or Hourihan. I would play then Malumbi, Hourihan or Knight. One of those three, maybe in the right hand side, because we're away from home, the right of the front three, if you know what I mean, but sort of set, being a bit more defensive. We're away from home,
Hourihan's
cover
found
to
a bit
the
of form
full
as well since the move.
Exactly, yeah. So I wouldn't play an attacking wide man up front, if you get what I'm saying. We're away from home. Save that. Who do we have after? We have Liechtenstein. Is it the next? Who's the next game?
Luxembourg at home.
Luxembourg at home. You can maybe put one of the younger lads more attacking option up for that game. But away to Serbia won't be easy. So that would be sort of.
Do you think it's going to help the young players all coming through together? I'd be very positive with the amount of young talent. It's probably something we haven't seen in a while. Would you be confident of all them coming together, and the fact that Stephen would have had a few of them at the 21s will stand to them?
Yeah, listen, you can pros and cons to everything. It definitely will help. Help him. He knows them all really well. Help them. They won't feel uncomfortable with each other. They'll all be in the same sort of position, and that definitely helps. I remember, being those lads' age, when I was coming through, it was the exact opposite. I was the young player with, the likes of Matt Holland and Kenny Cunningham, all these lads, they'd all been to the World Cup in 2002, and I was this young player and you really felt like, you'd just be nervous and you'd be sitting in the corner not saying a word or whatever. When you have a bunch of everyone the same, I'm sure they all get on well together, they have good crack together, and they feel a lot more comfortable. When you're a young lad in there on your own, you feel uncomfortable, and it's maybe harder to settle in. So no, I think you can look at it that way. I'm sure Stephen would like a bit more experience, but the back, Seamus Coleman, Kieran Clark, there's experience there. Darren Randolph, I would go for Darren Randolph in goal. And people call him for Queven Kelleher, but I don't think Darren Randolph has done anything wrong for Ireland.
And
Queven Kelleher is the future, and the Stevens left back. So there is experience there, the back, but it's not easy. I feel for Stevens, said he's sort of come in at a difficult time, but then he said the pressure's on him, but pressure's off him a bit. If you really look at it, you'd say give him. You're not expecting miracles with the squad he has. You're just looking for some positive signs. That'd be my opinion on it. Some people won't be that patient, but my opinion for the next year wouldn't be that anyway.
What was your initial thoughts when the news broke about Duffer leaving the camp?
Initial thoughts were strange. I'd been on RT with him the week before, and he'd not said anything, So I was surprised, very surprised. And it just, again, talking about the perfect storm with, Dave McGoldrick retired and Duffers was gone, and the leaking crap story about the thing before the England game, the motivational video and all, and so just not ideal for Stephen Kenny. And I suppose the one thing that Damien didn't really explain was just I'm leaving, and you'd prefer family reasons or I'm too busy or something thrown out there just to shut us not to stop us stop us speculating or talking or saying they fall out or he doesn't like the manager or whatever the flip it might be. But he gave nothing. He just said I'm leaving the squad and thanks, and that was that left it up to us to speculate a bit more. He's come out since actually and spoke about it on RT and sort of explained it a bit more and makes a bit more sense. But I don't think Stephen's got anyone in or rumours of anyone replacing Damien yet. But he'll need him. You need good people around you. I thought Damien was great for that. Keith Andrews is there, and a very positive, good coach, and all the players will know him. But someone else as well, some faces. Some experienced faces. He probably, I know he doesn't get on, no, you don't know he doesn't get on, but the Robbie Keane one, he's been paid by the FAI. It's, I don't know what the story is there, but it's for someone to come in, even if it's just, will you come in and do some one day with us and do striking with the strikers, or finishing work and just your experience, and they'd love to have him, working with Robbie Keane, maybe not be in for the full squad, even just come in and do a couple of sessions when you can, or I don't know. I think it's a waste when we're paying him, when the FA are paying him anyway, and Robbie would do it, I'm certain. So he wouldn't turn it down. It's he's contracted to the FA. I just think that's I don't know how they even know that they don't get on because they haven't worked with each other before. So I think it's a waste. It's sort of a wasted opportunity there to not use him. But anyway, he's not. So
they might be asking you kind of were played in a period where there would have been a lot of talk of, let's say, the likes of Wes Houlihan and maybe not getting enough game time. We were always crying out for that creative player. It's the same kind of with Jack Byrne now. People are crying out for that creative manager or that creative player, should I say. Would you have liked to have played in a Stephen Kenny team? Not to put down maybe the teams you played in. I think there was always an interpretation that it was going long, and you obviously done a great job for us, I suppose. Would you have liked to play in a Stephen Kenny team, I suppose, as they cut to the chase, really? Yeah,
of course. I enjoyed playing under. I think I really enjoyed playing under Trapattoni, especially early on. Our football was a lot better early on under Giovanni in the last year, so it was pretty dire, all right. The one criticism I think I have in Stephen Kenny's reign, and I like watching him play. I like how they're trying to play, and I think with the stronger squad, a squad of maybe, and going back like a rose-tinted glasses, but we had pretty strong squads over recent years. We go back to Robbie Keane, Damien Duff, and all that. So maybe 5 or 10 years ago, a lot of good players under that system. right now, the only thing, say I did the England game, I watched it closely. My only worry was I liked how we tried to play and we had better possession stats and we looked nice. But if you listen to, say, Gareth Southgate afterwards and his interviews, like, I thought it'd be a harder game. We didn't get tested. And that'd be my worry, that we go so far one way. Like, the football that we were playing in the last year, 2 years, hasn't been good enough. Like, it was terrible to watch.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. But I'd hate to go the total other way where we throw everything out the window and go, we're going to just play like England or try play like Spain or try play like Germany, purely by the coaching manual book. And we roll it out every time we pass it out, no matter how high England are pressing us, we're going to roll out and pass it out when it's not the right thing to do. And it, I just felt and I know it's early on in Stephen's reign, he's trying to emphasize the point maybe and get the players thinking one way, but I just liked us to be, especially playing England, it's important to us as a nation playing England. We have a grudge, obviously, to to be able to play both ways, to play football, but also, have a moment where Darren Randolph can go, back off, I'm putting Shane Long in over the top and he's going to score against Germany. Or I'm going to boot a ball to Niall Quinn, who's going to flick it on, and Robbie Keane's going to score against Germany in a World Cup. Or Paddy Bonner's going to boot a ball and Niall Quinn's going to score against Holland in 19. I'm not saying do that for 90 minutes at all. Of course not. I like the fact we're trying to play, but to have both options, to have every now and again, because international teams love playing against Ireland if we played like we did against England, where it's all nice, it's perfect. But if we play nice and perfect, we're going to get beat most of the time, unfortunately, because England have fantastic players, Spain have fantastic players, Germany, whatever. Against the top teams, we're going to get beat. We're never going to get that big result like we have done in the past. So retain an element of surprise. They hate being turned. They hate being physical. And we still have players who can do that, but just not for 90 minutes, not ball after ball after ball, but just every now and again. Darren Randolph, I'm not going to roll this one out, lads. We're not going to play it. We're going to mix it up a little bit here. Bang, go, deal with this one. And sort of just retain, what I'm trying to say is we have to be a little bit different. We can't be the same as everyone else. We have to retain our aggressiveness, our enthusiasm for playing for Ireland, our fight, our ugliness at times on the pitch. And I just felt in the England game, I saw none of that. I saw nice football and I thought it was lovely, and on stats and everything, it was nice. But England came off of every jersey was white. None of them looked like they'd been in the game. They cruised through. They could have won by more. As nice as we had it in the possession. I hope you know what I'm trying to say.
I do. I know what you mean. There needs to be some sort of balance to the play.
A little bit, yeah.
We try and play, but we hold on to that kind of that persistence that we have in our play.
Sort of Irish spirit, that difference that we have in the past.
The we as supporters have to be patient. There's no fans in the stadium at the minute. Well, I'm so used to going to the Aviva and watching the Ireland game, and you're getting ready for the ball, the chasing down to kind of get and go of the game. When we go to the Aviva now, and it's going to be, obviously, hopefully the stadiums are going to be full, God knows when, but when it does happen, are we going to have that little bit more patience that when we go to the Aviva, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be kick and grab. And I'm not saying it was kick and grab when you were there.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of...
No, I know what you mean, definitely. I think most supporters now have watching the Premier, watching everything. You're all pretty educated. I think people are more used to it now, football. So it shouldn't take, you're watching it week in, week out. I think we'll still see I want to still see the players fighting, closing down, chasing after every ball. That's the sort of side I'm trying to say we need to maintain and not forget about. The sort of our calling card, players used to hate coming off the pitch playing against Ireland. Retain that difference, that little difference. And I think once fans see that we're still doing that, well, they'll love to see us playing out from the back in the right moments, right moves, everyone knowing what they're doing, everyone, making movements, shapes, playing lovely football, which we have done under Stephen, and there's been some lovely football at times, but just also retaining that. So a centre half comes off after playing Ireland, go, that was fucking, I never want to play them again. Retaining that side to our play. Which he's Stephen is in. He's trying to get across the other side. He knows we can do that side, I suppose, and he's trying to get across the other side. And he's maybe overemphasizing. I'm trying to think what he's thinking. Overemphasizing the other side, so we get used to it. Playing under pressure, playing in tight situations, being comfortable and getting better at it. And I hope, then just we've gone from 100% one way to 100% the other. Maybe it's 75, 80%. And retaining it, but retaining our pressing, our getting, when we're chasing stuff in in the Aviva and you're winning balls and you're blocking stuff and you're fighting and the crowd is roaring. It's very easy to do those things. It's a great atmosphere. I don't think that means we have to, Darren Randolph, roll the ball out and people have to watch him boot it for 90 minutes. No, I don't at all. I hate it. It's brutal to watch. But just retain a bit of surprise, a bit of Irishness, a bit of fighting spirit, and the crowd will be enthused by that, I think. And it's not rocket science. I hope it's not. It's easy for me to sit here and say that, isn't it? But like you go through that team, and we just spoke about it. There's no point in. It's terrible to say. I never think we're not as good as anyone else. But if we play in a certain way and we're coached in a certain way, we're able to do it. We're able to find a way to win. That team can beat anyone. But I just think if we play like the coach manual says against England and Spain, we're never going to get big results against them because if you go through the team, we don't have the same level of player. So. There we go. Not my rant over.
No, that's fair enough. It's a good rant. So we've done all the talking now, so I'll put you on the spot now. Serbia and Luxembourg. Give me the points we're going to be on after the 2 games.
Oh.
Don't be claiming lost the signal on me here now. What the answer?
Yeah, can't hear you. No, we're going to beat Luxembourg at home. Yeah. Right? So there's 3 points.
I hope so. I'd like to say that.
Stop. Listen, if we don't, may forget about it. Terrible to say. Sorry, it's disrespectful to Luxembourg. They do get some results, in fairness to them, but at home to Luxembourg, come on, if we're not confident about that, we might as well never be confident. Win against Luxembourg, and I'll go for a away draw. There we go.
Perfect.
Will we score away from home? Yes, this is the start of a World Cup. Well, let's go 1-1 draw. I go for a goal as well.
We take the 0-0.
You take the 0-0. I go 1-0. I want a goal just to break that.
Break that duck,
Get a goal 1-1 away from home.
Okay. Just before we go, we have one last question. We need you to settle debates in the office. We have bets on. If I give you a blank check in the morning, Kylian Mbappe or Halton? There's big money riding on this in the office.
I would take Halton. Haaland, to be honest.
My man.
Yeah, he's all round, isn't he? He's got everything.
He's a tank.
The best players in the world, Mbappe's fantastic. I'm not criticizing Mbappe. And he's a World Cup winner already, and he's brilliant. But I was thinking about this a few weeks ago. The world's greatest players over here, from Maradona to Pele, to Ronaldo to Messi, have not relied. I think Mbappe relies just the touch of his game is his pace. And if he got a bad injury next week and was coming back and he lost the art of pace, he wouldn't be the same player. Yeah. Whereas Haaland is his dad. Haaland would be the same player, or pretty much. He's just a machine. He's frightening in every sense of the way. You could play him centre midfield, You couldn't play Mbappe centre midfield. Haaland could play anywhere.
Mbappe I sat in the Stretford end about the time when United had the comeback in Paris, but the first leg in Old Trafford, I sat in the Stretford end that game, and Mbappe was on the halfway line, and I'm not joking with you, I blinked and he was in front of me. Sometimes when you're in the stadiums, it's hard to kind of get a grasp on real pace. Oh man, it was scary. So it was. So you're going to go with Haaland.
I'm going Haaland. And Mbappe's touch. You see his goal. Who's his goal against last week in the box?
Barcelona, was it?
His quick feet are, in fairness, Mbappe. It's not just pace.
Yeah.
But I do think, that's his calling card, is his pace. Whereas Haaland reminds me of, that freaky player on FIFA, or like Jonah Lomu rugby, where Jonah Lomu was way better than everyone else. Haaland's like that.
He just barges through.
6'3". Yeah, he just he's just out of proportion in size and strength, and
like myself.
You watch a height, he's just physically an animal, and just brilliant on the ball as well. So.
Well, Kevin Doyle, I can't thank you enough for coming on, for giving up your time. I know you're busy with the horses. We really, really, really appreciate it. And we will have you back on after the qualifiers, hopefully after we beat Luxembourg. You haven't jinxed us on it. But again, thanks very much for your time today.
No worries, Mark. Good talking.
Thanks, Kev. Take care.
EJMenswear.com. The half price sale now on. Shop half price Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Farah. EJMenswear.com. Shop half price Ralph Lauren, Ted Smith, Gant. EJMenswear.com. Shop half price Lionel Scott, G-Star, Superdry. Shop half price top brands. Shop Irish owned. Shop EJMenswear.com. Shop the half price sale now at EJMenswear.com.